I ain't gonna cap to you. I was pretty drunk during this point in the stream, so I'm gonna keep all parts in this because it was pretty lit, and I kept getting even more drunk as the video kept going. But I hope y'all enjoy. Business casual is unhinged.
Okay, ready for a follow-up? Because I am. Business casual is unhinged, and it's time we talk about it. Here's a general recap before the new stuff. Business Casual, about 2 years ago, filed a lawsuit against RT, Russia Today, for stealing their content. I don't care about that case. It doesn't matter to me. Company took a little bit of your content, cool, get over it, sue them, don't sue them, make a choice, no one cares. But right alongside that action, Business Casual filed a lawsuit against YouTube as well. This was telling because it wasn't just that Business Casual wanted the infringing content taken down. It wasn't just that they wanted to fight back against a big company stealing their innocent little project. It was more. Business Casual wanted, and still wants, all of the RT network channels permanently banned. Russian state-sponsored media is currently demonetized and blocked worldwide, but that's not enough for them. They want...
Like we said in the last video. Well, Upper Echelon's last video. You wanting a whole network of channels to be just like taken down just because they took a couple of seconds of your video is not okay. I don't agree with what Russia's doing in Ukraine. I don't like. We're not going to be making it all political because if I want to make a political video, I'll make a political video. But for you to sit there and just because you so butthurt, you want to sit there and claim YouTube's in bed with Russia, blah blah, when all of these fucking platforms are not giving them any money, or it's supposed to be giving them any money by that chance. And if they are, how is Business Casual gonna know it? He's just throwing shit at the fucking wall. And when he made this fucking lawsuit, this was before the whole shit in Ukraine. So it's like, you sitting here and then you want them to just like completely take this shit off because somebody took a few seconds of your video. Like, I've never seen somebody this butthurt about somebody taking their shit. Like, I've never seen some shit. Like, you're paying lawyers to waste their fucking time. Put it that way. Lawyers aren't caring because they're getting paid. As long as they get paid, they don't give a fuck. But you're paying lawyers out of your pocket, or the donations of your fans, or your Patreons, whatever they have, to sit there and pay for a lawyer that you don't need because you're probably going to lose.
Every single one of the channels taken down for good, and they vow to fight like hell until they get their way. It's a cringeworthy, obnoxious, overly dramatic tirade about how the system is broken and needs to change. I have to stand up against it. Usually I can get behind that. I really can. I love rooting for that stuff. But this one, no. This one is dumb as hell, and it's time someone really called it out. My last video was about how the lawsuit is a bad idea. The one against YouTube. It got thrown out once. It's probably going to get thrown out again if he appeals. And that's the way it should be. But far from being a simple case of criticism shouted into the void, Alex Edson responded to me in both email and YouTube comment. It's funny because he has been aggressively patrolling his own comment section since the video was published. I'll demonstrate that in just a bit. But when I originally tried to make contact, I had no luck. In fact, he has, ironically, shadow banned me from the comment section.
You can shadow ban somebody from your comment section?
I scrolled all 14,000 comments, every single one, and searched for keywords. My original comment, respectfully reaching out, is gone, as is any and every single mention of Upper Echelon or UEG except one. There is one little comment that he didn't manage to delete or shadow ban, which is kind of hilarious. Here's the problem.
Wow, there really is only one. Especially when you have like a day ago. Because I think Upper Echelon's first video about this topic came out about like, let's say 4 or 5 days ago. So whenever he started recording this, and it just says a day. Because when did he email him? Let me just go back. That was, does it say? August 27th. So today is August 30th. So we're going to say he started making this video on August 27th. Probably because then he looked to see if all his shit was shadow banned and stuff in the comment section. But to take all the comments out of your video about this one dude's opinion says a lot, because you don't want that narrative to be spat about. I'm wrong. I'm doing too much. I'm toxic for the YouTube community and the creator and blah blah blah. Because you want to be the not a saving grace. But you want to sit there and act like you're the victim, and you want to sit there and act like you want all the sympathy in the world, but you can't take criticism. Like, not everybody in life is ever going to agree with you. So I don't understand why you would go and either shadow ban, if that's even a possibility. I didn't even know that you could do that. Or just like completely delete anything that has to do with upper echelon gaming. So I'm assuming the only reason that the comment stayed is because it said UEG instead of upper echelon. Like, it actually wrote, let's say somebody said, did y'all see Upper's video or echelon gaming video or like, I feel like he went specifically, or somebody in that channel staff, because after a certain point, I feel like most big YouTubers have a couple people. Some people are independent, but some people have like a little staff that goes through and edits and uploads the videos for the main person. Somebody went and did all that. Like, that's going out of your way to suppress a certain narrative around you. And, bro, you can't do that to somebody that will sit there and document and will go through and make sure that their point gets put up like this. Somebody that has the time and the pettiness to sit there and go back and forth with you all day, you don't want to fuck with them. Like, you just don't. The people that make videos like this, like Fillion or like an upper echelon gamer, that like kind of, it's not like a documentary, not a documentary, but like will sit there and gather as much evidence as possible to make their point. They are going to make sure that shit like this is shown to prove their point even further, and then they become the victim, and you're no longer the victim. So you're hurting your whole case.
Except one. There is one little comment that he didn't manage to delete or shadow ban, which is kind of hilarious. Here's the problem. A lot of people probably aren't going to take this at face value. Sure, he deleted my comment, but how could a video that says things like, quote, if YouTube was actually an American company, it would not comply with these censorship orders, end quote, be deleting comments and shadow banning critics?
YouTube is an American company. Whether they run on the interests of America, that's a different conversation. But they're an American company. They were birthed in America. And they're bought by an American company. I'm sorry that YouTube and Google expanded past the United States borders, and you don't like that because they have an office in Russia. Like, you know how many other companies have offices across the fucking world? You want to sit there and bitch about them too?
Well, one user on Twitter named Rebane has us covered. He began monitoring the comment section and logging what was deleted and when. Business Casual has been full send, batch deleting.
How do you, like, bro? See, this is what I'm saying. Somebody is that petty to find this. I don't even know what this even actually says. Like, it obviously is timestamps of when things were deleted. But, like, if somebody could find this and actually see that on and this is not a small video with a couple comments. This is a 1 million view video. So I'm going to say, let's say we're going to go with 1,000 plus comments. He went through all of that and then highlighted what has to do with upper echelon gaming. This is the shit that I'm telling you. Do not fuck with these people.
Comments periodically in a way that showcased.
Oh, and how do we know it's actually because deleting the comments? After noticing some comments disappearing, I set up a script to monitor the comment section. Below is a timestamp logs and removals. This kind of statistical anomaly cannot be caused by anti-spam or self-deletion.
Just through timestamps would appear to be hour-long bursts of just scrolling and deleting over and over. But let's expand on that. When confronted with this on Twitter, Business Casual says, quote, "You are mistaken. The only comments we've removed are from people who didn't actually take the time to watch the video. There is a shadow campaign underway to intentionally spread misinformation about our lawsuit."
Okay, so you are admitting that, because if you take that statement and then you merge it with that email saying that he didn't actually watch the video, it is confirming you're deleting anything that has to do with my video against what you're saying. So you just blew your whole self up.
End quote. Ooh, a shadow campaign. That sounds fun. Except we can actually look at what is being deleted thanks to Rebane. Now, to be clear, we've all done it. A comment pops up that is riddled with swears, disrespect, or otherwise infuriating. The person is just attacking you, insulting you.
Let's look at a couple of these. No offense, but all the clips you showed in the video are all falls under fair use. You will lose in court so hard. Also, it literally looks like you're about to cry in the video. You're a grown adult. Imagine you're... See, that's not even just... He's not even just deleting any... Like, So yes, it's not just him deleting UEG's related comments or comments about UEG's video or whatever. You just mad at anybody that's disagreeing with you. Like, bro, there's going to be people that disagree with you. At some point, you're gonna have to understand. Like, there's not gonna be. You're not gonna have 100% like, especially after a certain point, a certain amount of views. There's gonna be people who don't like your shit, and you can be like, yo, this is. It could be a video of you giving your grandmother a birthday cake. There's going to be somebody that dislikes that video. Now, if somebody's in there being disrespectful, that's different. Something like this is not disrespectful. Other than like he might have got butthurt about the you look like you're about to cry in the video. He did look like he was about to cry, but that's not even that bad. Based on your video, you give a vibe that you're trying to wring millions out of YouTube for experts or excerpts of your video. I mean, it sounds like a retweet should have been taken down and edited their videos. Good faith. Oh no, RTI's Russian Today. I'm sorry. And edited their video in good faith, but you shouldn't be able to hold an entire channel hostage over let's loosely estimate 2% of the screen time and 1% of their the videos on their channel. Like, yeah, like all of the shit that they have over the years and time that they had cultivated these channels. Like I said, I don't agree with what Russia's doing, but you can't just sit there and then try to take it down a channel for the 3 seconds that they took of your, or the few seconds that they took of your video. Like, it's not even like relatively, like, if somebody took your whole video and then put it on their channel and then they made money off of it, that's one thing. But if they took a clip of your video, that should not impact all the rest of the work they've done. That doesn't make any sense.
Or making things up, and you're not in the mood for it. Most creators have seen it. Most creators have done it. You hover your hand over that little button and just poof, gone. I've done it myself, and I'll do it again. I'm only human. But what if you were doing more than that? What if you were purging not just comments from people who didn't watch the video, and how could you even know that, but anything you saw that even remotely questioned you? Here's one, quote, "Excellent video. I would like, however, to question the decision to release this video during from what I understand to be active litigation. Side note, yeah, calling YouTube's lawyers pathological liars, saying you are disappointed in the judge and that the court got it wrong while you were trying to sue multiple large corporations is a pretty stupid ass thing to do."
Yeah, you like if you're currently in the process of trying to like appeal the YouTube thing, possibly, and then you have an active case against RT. Why are you talking about, like, anybody that knows, if you have an open case, any case, doesn't matter what it is, like whether it's a civil case or it's like a federal case or a state case, you don't talk about it because it can hurt your case. It can be brought up to the other side that, like, yo, this person's spitting a whole hate campaign against my client, and then here are the receipts of this. They can take this UEG video and present it to court. The same way that people, like, when the Tory Lanez case with Meg Thee Stallion, like, Academics' content, not his videos or anything, but some of the things that Academics would tweet or put on Instagram was actually brought into a case. So it's like, you don't know what can and can't hurt you. Just shut the fuck up.
But anyway, reading on.
It's one thing to say, yo, I'm suing YouTube. I can't get into it. I'm suing RT. We're trying to file in the courts, but this is what's currently going on. You could say that because it's public information. It's not something that's not, it can't be found on the internet or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But to go and start saying the judge is stupid, you're hurting yourself. You're not, like, first of all, don't shit on the people that will grant you what you want if you actually win. That's what you don't understand. You don't do shit like that because you're going to lose. I promise you.
Quote.
That's like a battle rapper going to their battle. They go on stage, say they're on Smack, go up in there, start whole half round shitting on Smack. You probably won't see that battler on Smack no time soon, unless they're a certain caliber person. But most likely, you ain't gonna see that nigga on Smack.
Additionally, the idea that this video is being completely blacklisted is most certainly, at least as of now, false and misleading, as it would appear many people are in fact getting this video recommended, myself included. Nothing in your video nor any information I could find would lead me to believe YouTube can manually control their algorithm outside of the demonetization process.
Now, see, I don't agree with that because when you create the algorithm, I feel like you could. I don't know technology like that. You're all gonna realize I don't know a lot. Most people don't know a lot. I don't know how algorithm works, but I feel like if you have the smart people that create the algorithm, I'm pretty sure you can manipulate it in any way you want, or fix it to do what you need it to do. Like if you see any like if your title has something that's like could be negative towards YouTube, I feel like they could put into the algorithm anything that says this or anything along these lines gets like doesn't get recommended to people. Now, to say that it happened to him specifically, he has that's hard to prove. But I'm not gonna say that YouTube can't do it. YouTube can't do it.
Yes. End quote. That's interesting. No swears, no vitriol, no anger, a 100% fully respectful, fully educated, as in he obviously watched the video, and informed comment from someone who mildly disagrees with the simple decision to release this video during the lawsuit. And yet, it's gone. It's gone because Business Casual is persistently deleting anything that even mildly questions what he posted. And perhaps he will tone it down, or stop fully now that it's been definitively called out against him. But read some more of these. Hit pause, read them, and tell me whether or not this is someone who is only removing comments from people who...
But like, why was this removed? I am against content theft, even though I am a media pirate. If like, bro, that's kind of like, bro, what? Why is the Russian market so important to Google? They are less than 2% of the world population and close to being bankrupt. Why? Like, why is that being deleted? Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't watch the video or...
Like here, the Lukelberg, whatever, the no offense, the one we read, the one that says it falls under fair use, and the one that said he was gonna cry, he was crying in the video, or about to cry. Like I could like you being butthurt, I can understand why this dude would delete that comment. But these two at the bottom doesn't make anything. That like YouTube always sides with big creators. They must have a small small judges to scare you off. Keep it up. Like that doesn't make sense to why that's deleted. That's just you just deleting anything.
Part of some shadow campaign of misinformation? Or is it someone batch deleting everything that they see that isn't blindly and unquestioningly in agreement with them? Pretty fucking authoritarian there, boyo. Let's move on. That particular comment about shadow banning gives us an interesting angle to move forward. This video about YouTube working with Russia to undermine the United States has over 1 million views right now. There are thousands of comments from people who don't even normally watch the channel at all about how this was pushed into their recommendation feed. And yet, the very first words you hear are, "This is the video YouTube doesn't want you to see." What's more, the argument is made in the comment section that it only got a few thousand views in the first few hours on a channel with 1 million subscribers. How could that ever be real? But if we use our adult brains, Business Casual hasn't posted a video in 2 years while they pursue this lawsuit. Most people don't even remember that the channel exists, let alone have notifications turned on.
Yeah, that's a fair point. If you haven't posted in 2 years, okay. And especially like depending on the content you make, right? I feel like there's only a few people that can go away for 2 years and then they can come back and they still have. Now you won't have the same consistency that you had when you were gone 2 years ago, but I feel like you could still get a pretty like we just looked at Corey the other day. Corey was gone for 9 months and he looked like he didn't lose a fucking beat. But Corey doesn't post that often anyway. So it's like Corey not posting every day, maybe once a week, maybe twice a month. Like if he posts when he feels like it. If he goes away and like that's another thing. If you drop a fucking banger, you could come right back. But the problem is, bro, you were gone for 2 years and let's be real. If your channel wasn't like, yeah, you might have earned 1 million subscribers. Congratulations. But like, if you wasn't like engaged with your community, some people are going to just forget you even exist. Some people will subscribe to you and they just forgot they even subscribed to you. They might like 1 or 2 videos, and it could have been at the end of your tenure, and you just disappeared. And then you expect that, oh, you're gonna argue just because you only got a few thousand views, bro. If your subs are gonna see that in their sub box, right? Some people can be like, Business Casual. Oh shit, they still exist. And then they see a 2-hour video, they're like, I ain't watching that shit. Especially if they wasn't they already off you, they grew up, they wanted to watch something else, they want somebody else, they were watching some bullshit now. They might not want to click on your shit. That's what happens. You have to stay consistent. Nobody's saying you can't take a break. But to take that long of a break and to expect you to just be popping, like, no. And you got 1 million views on this video now. So what are you bitching about?
Or pay attention to.
For a video that came out, August 16th? We're on August, like I said, I'm recording this on August 30th. So 14 days ago. You got 1 million views in 14 days. That's pretty impressive. I don't see how that's shadow banned in the algorithm. And let's be honest, UEG being one of the channels that not necessarily, I won't say reacted to your video, but had a counter argument to your video or a response video to what you wrote or you spoke in your video, that helped your numbers. But yet you're bitching about it. This helped other people get to see your video. Whether they agreed with you or not, it was eyes on your video, which is what you wanted.
So a few thousand views in the first few hours before the incendiary claims of YouTube working with the Kremlin to undermine America cause a viral spread, that is completely understandable. Business Casual is on social media showing screenshots of 0 bell notifications sent. But the vast majority of all viewership never comes from bell notifications. It comes from browse features. And browse features...
I don't know how bell notifications work, but how many people actually use the bell notification? If we went on to any big YouTuber, I bet you a bunch of them don't have a lot of people, not saying a lot, but a lot of their actual viewership do not have the bell icon. Or like click on the bell. There's a lot of people that don't even use that shit. Some people don't even want to be bothered with that fucking notification. They just want to see it in their sub box. If I see it, I see it. Like, a lot of people don't have notifications on any platform by that matter. Like, some people just don't want to look at their fucking phone screen one day, and then it's like, damn, it's got mad notifications. I have to filter through all this fucking shit, and there's a lot of it just bullshit. Some shit I don't care about, some like tweets or whatever. Like, people be getting a lot of shit on their phone or their laptops or whatever. Just because you don't have, and like I said, if you haven't posted in 2 years, why did you think anybody was just gonna like have the bell icon just like fucking flying, clicking on your video that fast?
Features are where this video is being pushed hard by the system. What's more, you can actually disable bell notifications yourself with a simple toggle, one click, in the upload interface. I've accidentally done it myself once before. It is infinitely more likely that the system had an issue after a 2-year-long hiatus, he accidentally or deceptively shut off the notifications himself, or some other harmless, non-conspiratorial explanation is true, than that YouTube is trying hard to make sure you don't watch the video that is being pushed all across the platform browse features with 1 million views and climbing. If they actually cared, you wouldn't see it, because they don't care. Now, people might be thinking, so what? He deletes perfectly respectful comments just for slightly disagreeing with one tiny thing. He complains about shadow banning that very obviously isn't happening to him, but it might be a problem on the platform. But what about the meat and bones of the video itself? And to this, I say bring it on. Alex Edson posted a lengthy reply in my comment section, a reply that is not shadow banned, by the way, feel free to go and find it. In this reply, he made a multitude of points that loosely coalesce into one larger point, aimed at the idea that I didn't watch the video, and I somehow lied.
The fact that upper echelon gamers still uses yahoo.com is crazy. I didn't notice this the first time he showed the email, but I did kind of look and I was like, this don't look like Google or Gmail, but I mean, to each his own. Especially if this channel is one of the older ones. But damn, Yahoo, this might be some pub for them.
About their intent. Here's a few snippets. Quote, "You mentioned that RT stole only a few seconds of Business Casual's video. You also later mentioned that RT only a few snippets. Your claims are categorically fallacious. As shown in our video, at least 2 of RT's videos actually infringed 28 separate copyrighted scenes from our video, totaling 1 minute and 28 seconds of our content, and those are just the ones we know about." End quote. Okay, is 1 minute and 28 seconds broken down over 28 scenes? That would be, let's see, about 3 seconds per instance on average.
So, yeah, if he's gonna break it down, if you're talking about, what do you say, 28 separate copyrighted scenes, that does break down to about 3 seconds per clip, right? any what's the difference between your like what you're bitching about is way worse is no, I'm sorry. What I'm doing is way worse than what he's bitching about. Me reacting to this video, even if I'm transforming this content as much as I possibly can, is way worse than that minute and 28 seconds of those 28 scenes. Like, bro, what are you talking about? You know how many times somebody takes a 3-second clip from something and then it could be from the same video, but a minute and 28 seconds out of like however long that original video that he's bitching about? Like, get the fuck out of here.
By the way, is a minute and 28 seconds of a parallax animated historical photo, whatever, worth universally banning 39 channels of a global news network? Put aside the idea that it's Russia Today. Don't let the understandable animosity many feel towards them as a company cloud your judgment. Is it worth it to ban every single channel that, I don't know, ABC News has because they used 3-second clips in a number of videos of historical photos that had been touched up and slightly animated? Who do you think would suffer the most if that kind of reality were to be widely adopted? Big companies or smaller creators who use clips and background footage in all sorts of videos? Another snippet from his email reads as follows, quote, "Business Casual's video is not pro-copyright. Please point to any part of our video where we argue for new laws. Please also point to any part in our video where we ask for existing laws to be strengthened. You cannot, because we do not. What we actually argue in this lawsuit is that the DMCA requires YouTube to apply its repeat infringer policy equally, and in rare cases such as this one, where the repeat infringement is obvious and the counter notifications are admittedly fraudulent, terminate the repeat infringer. Your mischaracterizations of BC's arguments are..."
Like, all right, if you get a copyright strike, that's a warning. You get, especially if it's your first one, that's a warning. Not a warning, because there is a warning for like a community guideline warning, and then there's a copyright strike. Your first strike, that would be your first strike. You are not trying to just get them a copyright strike. You're trying to take down their entire fucking network of channels for that minute and 28 seconds. There's a difference between trying to get that one video taken down. Nobody would have got mad at you. I'm not saying nobody would have got mad, but it wouldn't have been as blown up and added proportion if it was just one fucking video. It is not one fucking video. You're trying to take down 32 channels worth of fucking work for you bitching and complaining about somebody stealing a minute and 28 seconds of fucking content. Suck a dick, bro. I don't understand why this dude is so mad. Like, this is just like, bro, you are just like, nobody should be this butthurt about anything.
Telling.
I don't say about anything, but you shouldn't be that butthurt about this.
Quote, "Nice. I'll give you that one. I can't point to a specific part of your video where you advocate for new laws, so instead, I'll point to a specific part of your lawsuit, where you argue that it should not be required by YouTube that copyright claims be adjudicated in court before terminal punishment is handed out." Page 11 of Business Casual Holdings versus YouTube. The court says, quote, "Let me ask you another question, Mr. Duff. The way that you describe it, it seems that it's just as easy to game the system from the front side as from the back side. What I mean by that is, it sounds like it's just as easy for a bad guy, let's say in this case the defendant, to affirmatively or preemptively file a notification of infringement against you and then file 2 more within 90 days to give you 3 strikes. So what's to stop a bad guy from doing that if all that has to happen is that you just file a notice of infringement?" And
Like, look what Quantum did with all those fucking copyright strikes that definitely didn't need to be used, but he sent mad copyright strikes for just a little glass clips, and how much that blew the people's minds that you could just sit there and try to copyright strike and try to demonetize people's channels for those little ass clips because you just kept throwing copyrights out of willy-nilly, and that is illegal. Illegal to do that.
quote, "That is a perfectly reasonable question. What happens if someone makes 3 claims and is a bad faith actor, or doesn't have a strong case to support those claims?" Answer from Business Casual's lawyer, quote, "Your Honor, that is an excellent question. You are right. Bad actors are always going to try to find a way to game the system. The problem here is that the adjudication requirement is not only not included in the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. If you read the other provisions of the DMCA Safe Harbor, Section 512, it's clear that Congress did not want parties to have to sue to enforce their rights. So while it may be that the system could be gamed on the other side, that's how Congress intended it to be." End quote. Let's simplify this. Business Casual is suing YouTube, saying that Congress never intended that copyright holders be expected to sue to defend their copyright, because YouTube has its own system, a system beneficial for creators, small creators at least, individual creators, where a company filing copyright strikes must back those claims up or they will be dropped, and they need to back them up before severe punishment is handed out. Business Casual is arguing in plain black and white text that YouTube's beneficial system should not work that way. They argue that it should work in such a way as to where bad faith actors can game the system, file multiple strikes, and get a channel terminated, and the party filing those claims does not need to prove anything in court in order for the punishment, up to and including mass termination, is handed out.
So you want that, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't be sitting there talking about, oh, I don't want the laws changed, but then say, oh, YouTube should have given them the maximum punishment by deleting all 32 channels, and then after that, then they have to fight to get their stuff back, and they have to fight to prove that I am wrong in the copyright, blah, blah. No, that's not how it works. It is done that way so that the individual creator, in this case, it was an actual network of channels, so it's a bigger conglomerate of people, or different channels or whatever. You sit there and you're going to be bitching about, oh, it needs to go my way. That's not how it works, because if YouTube was like that, do you know how many people's channels would be deleted? Do you know how many people would not be on this platform anymore? Do y'all remember when Ubisoft was throwing out copyright strikes on people for putting their fucking games on the internet? Imagine that now. Bro, you could barely, Nintendo games, some of them games, to this day, they don't play that shit. So think about now, if I don't have the ability to counter that or sit there and at least keep my channel until the actual punishment shows up, that's not fair to individual creators. There's so many small YouTubers who would have been gotten the fuck up out of here if that's not the case. And Business Casual, you was a small YouTuber at one point. This happened to you, you be bitching about the same thing.
We really do need a lawyer to do a full 4-hour reaction or whatever to this guy's video and lawsuit.
I agree with that. We do need an actual lawyer, because this is, not only is UEG not a lawyer, and he doesn't really, I'm not saying he doesn't know law, but he's not he doesn't have a law background. So actual words on a law background that knows this shit would be able to explain and say whether this is right or wrong, or if this is even possible, or if this argument is even valid.
Because there are some seriously deceptive and damaging elements at play here, and I'm sure a lawyer would go way deeper than I can. So anybody out there, Hogue Law, Legal, Leonard,
I have enough time to make another drink.
French. I mean, I'm gonna miss people if I name drop, but somebody out there, so there's got to be a lawyer that can pick this shit apart. Now, the lawyer does go on to talk about a reasonable repeat infringer policy. So let's take a look at that part. From the email, quote, "What you also misunderstand is that it is YouTube's published policy which explicitly calls for the termination of all associated channels. RT has 39 associated channels, as confirmed by YouTube. Please understand, BC is not asking YouTube for anything more than what YouTube's own policy explicitly mandates under these circumstances. As you can read on YouTube's website, if a user gets 3 copyright strikes in 90 days, their account, along with any associated channels, will be terminated," end quote. Okay, let's read about that. YouTube has 2 different groups. There is affiliate CMS and managed CMS. CMS stands for Content Management System. And this is to sort out who is a smaller channel posting content and a larger channel, massive channel I should say, or network of channels that are posting much, much more or higher engagement content. Here's the fun part. We can read about this from a sworn affidavit signed by Alex Edson of Business Casual himself. He calls these secretive systems and claims that he had unprecedented access to these tools over his long and illustrious career. Never mind that all of this shit is posted directly on the Google support website, which Business Casual claims is buried so far down that no one can realistically find it. But still, in this little gem, this sworn affidavit, we can read the following, quote, "TV Novosti's associated channels, identified by the letters RT, of which there are at least 38 as confirmed by YouTube, enjoy access to YouTube's managed CMS technology," end quote. Well, alrighty then. Right from the source himself. RT Arabic is part of the Limited Access Content Management System, or managed CMS. What does that mean? I'll tell you exactly what it means. It means that the entire claim by Business Casual that YouTube secretly increased their CMS copyright strike policies to aid the Russian government in undermining America is bullshit. As far back as 2019, before this lawsuit existed, YouTube had their policies posted directly to support.google.com, clearly stating, quote, "When a channel receives a copyright strike, channel-level penalties are applied. Partners should avoid accumulating copyright strikes across their managed channels. Failure to do so will result in penalties applied to their content manager in addition to existing channel strike policies. Partner strike penalties limit access to features. This impacts both the content owner and associated content owners. Okay, makes sense. TV Novosti under RT, according to the CEO of Business Casual, is a content manager in the CMS program, and CMS program members must adhere to copyright strike guidelines as well.
Okay.
Right? So you would think, okay, 3 strikes still. But here's the kicker, because as far back as 2019, quote, if a partner receives 10 copyright strikes across managed channels in a 90-day period, then the partner is subject to further review, the results of which may include loss of the ability to link channels, loss of the ability to upload videos, and termination of the partnership agreement. After 90 days, copyright strikes will expire and be removed from the channel and the content owner's total. YouTube also reserves the right to evaluate and address abuse at any time at its discretion. End quote. Double fucking whammy, boy. First,
Damn.
It's not 3, it's 10. Now, you could say, okay, it gets applied at a channel-wide level.
So, if... Okay, I'm going to try to break this down so I can understand it better. So, if a channel or a network, like if it's in the partner program, of course, if they get 10 copyrights within a 90-day period, that's when all those things that he's arguing should kick in. But he's saying 3 because he's going with the individual channel. If it's not an individual channel and you're trying to sue the network has 10 copyright strikes before they could even, like, you could even say anything. So you try to get him with these 3 copyright strikes in a 90-day period for something that doesn't even apply to him or them, because it's a conglomerate. It's a network. It's not just one individual person. If it was my channel, I get 3. I know that. You get 3 strikes and you're done. That's life. But this doesn't apply for a network of channels.
Which means RT Arabic maybe still falls under that 3-strike policy, but not the entire network. Second, these strikes expire after 90 days, bringing into question the reality of how the strike system should operate. If you find 11 instances over 5 years and file all the claims at the exact same time, does that equal a permaban? If Business Casual gets their way, arguing that there should be no required burden of proof in court or litigation to back up your claims, yes, it probably would result in immediate, unquestioned termination of all associated accounts. But when you realize that those 11 instances of copyright theft happened less than once every 5 months, well, what now? It's funny because Business Casual is whining about how YouTube's lawyers concocted a new system for RT to get 35 copyright strikes in a year, but his own sworn affidavit makes it clear that RT is in the CMS program, and the CMS program members get, at 10 strikes per 90-day period, up to 40 strikes per year. It's not secret, it's not new, and it's been that way since 2019. Which one is it, Alex?
And if his lawsuit's only 2 years old, let's be real, when was this? Like, bro, that was before your lawsuit, so I'm sorry. Like, if YouTube has this shit in fucking writing, like, bro,
sworn affidavit based on over a decade of top secret industry information wrong? Top secret information readily available on Google's support, by the way. And YouTube created a new system just for RT out of thin air, like you claim in your video. Or is the video wrong and YouTube's CMS policy since 2019 is correct, thereby invalidating your entire lawsuit premise? Which one is it? A lot of this guy's dumbass email is just word soup saying you don't understand the lawsuit in so many ways, but here's another snippet. Quote, you claim that Business Casual would rather the entire Russian population lose access to all of YouTube. Again, patently false. If you actually watched our video, you would know that BC repeatedly tried to help RT avoid the shutdown of its accounts, end quote. But if we sit down and really use our heads here, that is exactly what he is pushing for. If you try to do something...
When were you ever trying to help RT? You're not helping them do anything.
Say, get a channel banned, and then the country backing that channel says, well, if you win, we're going to ban YouTube itself from the entire nation. Not even just YouTube, by the way. Also Google, in this case. And you keep pushing for it to be banned. You are pushing for that country to lose access to YouTube and Google. It's not right.
And I'm sorry. It's not fair to the Russian citizens that don't care about the war, that don't care about what their dictator is. I'm not even saying president. Their dictator is doing in his policies, in their regime, in their government. They don't agree with that. They should not have the right. They should not have one of the biggest search engines that could possibly give them information that's outside of their fucking country to let them know what's going on in the world. Even if it's censored in Russia, it's still something that they could possibly use to help them understand what's going on in the real world. and not just what's the Russian government. Like, do you want them to be even more of a fascist state than they are? You want them to be even more in a dictatorship than they already are? Do you not understand the damage you're causing for the bullshit that you're trying to start? Because you want to sit there and act like you're a victim. You want to sit there and act like you are not doing anything wrong. You are. Stop trying to sit there and by writing a fucking 5-paragraph email to somebody, to sit there and sound like you're so fucking smart and you're contradicting yourself in this fucking entire email. It makes no sense.
For that to happen. It's complete bullshit for a country to do that in the first place, but they are leveraging their position by holding their own market share hostage. And if you understand the cause and effect equation properly, continuing to push for the thing that would cause the other thing to happen, well, you get the picture. It's not good that Russia did this. It's not moral, ethical, proper, or anything of the sort. Don't get me wrong. But if you want thing A to happen, and then thing B will be a response to thing A, you have to choose whether or not thing A is worth having thing B happen at a time of global tension. I was hoping that this simple, logical truth would be...
Me drinking alcohol with lemonade, well, vodka with lemonade, and drinking a milkshake at the same time is crazy. I don't even know why I'm doing this. My stomach's going to be going crazy all night.
Graspable here. Last part of the email, quote, "Please do not talk about my personal medical issues on camera. It is inappropriate. The reason that I published my video when I did was because I was suicidal at the time and wanted to make sure the video was published in the event that I decided to take my own life."
I am an advocate for mental health. But bro, if you were on suicide, if you wanted to off yourself or commit suicide, let me be more respectful. Commit suicide, whether it's because of this or anything personal in your life, I'm sorry. But the problem comes down to that is not what was stated. I understand it's not, you don't have to state that technically. You shouldn't have to state that to the courts. But you kept asking for extensions based on COVID and other reasons. And then you still dropped a fucking 2-hour video in the process of that when you said, oh, all these things. That's too, like, why do you want us to, like, that's hard to believe. Or even if it's not hard, even if it's true, it's hard to be sympathetic of that because we didn't know that. And not even just that we didn't know that, you're not saying that, or you not, how can I say it, conveying to the courts how severe it was, why you couldn't be there, other than you had COVID, you were sick, and you were not well. Like, bro, that's what was told us in your court documents. That's not something he made up. He read what was in the court documents and the motions that were put by your fucking lawyers. He's not sitting here trying to make fun of you for you being suicidal. That's not what he did. Stop it.
Again, not appropriate for you to discuss. You have no idea what kind of demons I am fighting in my head. Oh, I know, man. You put them all over the internet. Knock it off. It is...
And bro, everybody's fighting demons. I'm fighting demons, bro. Like, cut it out. Everybody goes through their own shit. Not saying that, like I said, I'm not sympathetic to somebody that truly feels like they want to harm themselves. I feel for you. But to say that based on what he reported in his video is completely wrong. That is not what he did to you.
Genuinely unclear whether your video was written with the help of YouTube's lawyers or if you are simply misinformed. Either way, I will not be defamed like this.
So, and you're also trying to start a conspiracy theory that this man's in bed with YouTube and then possibly Russia. Like, okay.
I will not allow you to publish false statements about me or my company on your channel, end quote. Yeah, so right from the jump, there is precisely zero chance that YouTube's lawyers helped me make my last video. What is this dude smoking? Furthermore, if you are depressed to the point of suicidality, maybe you
K2, that's what he's smoking. Straight K2 to the fucking dome.
Shouldn't be posting a 2-hour video about how YouTube is working with the Kremlin to undermine America, then batch deleting comments that barely even disagree with you, while fundamentally misrepresenting what you are actually arguing for in court, as you advocate that copyright strikes on YouTube should be passed out and terminal punishment handed down afterward, with no expectation or requirement of being able to prove that it's justified as a result of YouTube's current protection policies for smaller channels in a court of law. When they filed copyright strike number 1, YouTube took the video down. When they filed copyright strike number 2, YouTube took the video down. When they filed copyright strike number 3, YouTube took the video down. But guess what? As per his own sworn statement, RT is part of the CMS program, so 3 doesn't even matter. It's a program that has existed since 2019, contrary to what he says in his video. And one more thing.
So, okay, so yes, you got your 3 strikes on the channel. But as he stated, if you knew the fucking true law of what YouTube was trying, like YouTube policy, the YouTube actual policy for somebody that falls into these categories, they get 10, 40 for the year, if I'm not mistaken, based on the time frame. Like whether, like no matter when they come, if you get 40 for the year, you like, then you're up for the scrutiny of being terminated and all your channels being demonetized. Blah blah blah. You didn't fall into that because you only gave 3, and you're expecting just because that one channel you set those 3 that's like when Machinima was popping and you went and then you got mad at let's say you said all these channels associated with Machinima, and Machinima is the overall network. You need, for all those channels to be taken down from Machinima, you had to get, well, at the time, because Machinima is no longer a thing, but if a Machinima was still a thing, you would need to get all those copyright strikes on to at least all across their whole platform, not just that one channel. Now, if you got 10 copyrights on that one channel, it still would have had the same result, but you don't understand that it was a fucking network you're going against. You're not going against the individual channel.
Before I wind down, the idea that YouTube is blocking Russian state media worldwide absolutely does disprove that they work in their favor. Business Casual says they are arguing for the period of time before that happened, and now that they are blocked, it's not enough. They need to be terminated, all of them. However, YouTube taking unrelated action against a nation for political reasons, adhering and supporting global sanctions against that country in the wake of a war, yeah, that kind of does disprove that they are working with that nation to undermine America, because a minute and 28 seconds of your little parallax animation of a historical video or photo or whatever got taken by a CMS company, and they weren't full-scale terminated everything that they own on the platform at your demand. You say, I will not be defamed. Okay, cool. You gonna sue me too? You already fucked this up, and if you go down that route, it's gonna be even worse, especially since you care obviously so much about the court of public opinion. Maybe if you were so depressed and filled with demons that you just want to get a video out because who knows if you'll otherwise live long enough to post it, maybe you should make some life changes. Drop the 2-year lawsuit that doesn't even fucking matter at this point. Stop posting unhinged claims that YouTube is undermining America, and stop battling the copyright system that is finally in a decent place for smaller creators. Maybe not decent, but miles better than it used to be. You have this tirade against...
Like, does he not remember the time when you really couldn't even refute somebody that sent you a copyright strike and could actually claim fair use? You couldn't even appeal that shit? Like, not saying the appeal process, like we already talked about, the appeal process is ass, but at least it's something compared to what it used to be. Like, fam, you got a fucking copyright strike back in the day. You could, like, to get that shit off, you had to go through like a whole probation period, okay? What are you talking about?
YouTube and RT at the end. YouTube didn't even do anything to you. They took down what you claimed. Their policy since 2019 doesn't...
And yeah, if they took down the fucking videos, they did what you asked. You want the fucking whole cake. When they try to give you a slice, in which you actually deserve to actually only get a slice. Even if I don't agree you deserve to get the slice anyway. But let's say you did deserve that. YouTube gave that to you. And yet you're still not happy.
Even required...
Like, this is some real caring shit right here.
...termination of all associated CMS partner channels for that number of violations. They block RT for unrelated reasons, and you still sue them, claiming that they are undermining America in league with Russia, while you are suicidal and so sick every couple weeks that you can't even file court documents in a 2-year lawsuit because they haven't fully banned all 39 channels. You have a severe grudge against this platform for some unknown reason, and I'm right here with you when you say that YouTube needs to be better with communication. Absolutely, brother. But you...
Everybody agrees that YouTube needs to be better with communication. Everybody agrees that YouTube needs to be better with their policies and how they distribute these policies across the platform. And it should be fairly used against everybody on the platform. It is impossible to do that fairly across every single person, but it needs to be a level of consistency. Everybody agrees to that. But what you're asking for is way too fucking much for what you're trying to get.
And this are not the person or situation to make it happen. At one point in his video, Alex Edson of Business Casual says, as fate would have it, RT has been stealing our videos for years. A couple of weeks after taking down the first video, my team stumbled upon another infringing video RT had posted. This one infringed an entire scene, approximately 7 seconds. He goes on, shortly after discovering that video, we found, you guessed it, yet another infringing video. and says all this was with a damn near smile on his face because his team hunted down 7 seconds of footage in order to hand out another strike weeks after the first few seconds got found.
And like, look, okay. Look at the view, like, look at the views. Let's go back so you can look at it. We can see it. 60,000 views, 60,747 views in 2019. Okay.
With a damn near smile on his face because his team hunted down
on a 5.5 million subscriber channel. Okay, you have way more. You have less subscribers than them, but you got a 4 million view video that came out a year prior. This is not hurting your video. You got your 4 million views. It was over at the time that they took that 7 seconds or whatever, or I would like to say fair use of your 7 seconds of a video. You already accumulated 4 million views on the way to 5. Are you mad because these 60,000 could have been you to get 5 million views? Is that what you're really mad about? Even though this one little clip isn't the reason they got to 60,000 in the first place. I'd have never watched either one of these videos, but 7 seconds is not going to be the reason this got that many views. And for a video, for a channel that has 5.5 million subscribers, 60,000 views is terrible. Terrible. And he took the screenshot of this. What? Well, I'm not going to say now. He got this from the video of Business Casual. So Business Casual has the picture of this before the video got taken down. If this is one of the videos that got taken down. So what are you mad at? Like, if somebody took my shit and they only got 60,000 views on a 5 million view channel, and I got almost 5 million, I'm not sweating it. 707 likes. You have 69K likes.
7 seconds of footage in order to hand out another strike weeks after the first few seconds got found. Big company bad. Okay, look, big company bad. I get it. But this guy then starts to say that YouTube is a copyright infringer as well after they did terminate those 3 videos. And what? All I can say is that he has a fucking grudge. I wish you luck with RT, man. The third one, he says, had an entire 9-minute video contained in a lengthy YouTube live stream, so that might be the only actual argument of substance that he has, but honestly, I hope you win. Get the bag, get paid.
Now, if somebody took 9 minutes of your video and didn't transform it at all, didn't comment on it, didn't say, that I can understand. I agree with you. Take the video down. That deserves a copyright strike. I am there with you. I agree with you. 7 fucking seconds. Hold nuts, bro.
I don't give a fuck. However, you need to cut this shit with YouTube. It's bad for the platform. Your lawyers are literally arguing for things that would be harmful to the ecosystem. Your case got thrown out, and now you're whipping everyone into a frenzy for some seriously suspect reasons. I mean, people are in your comment section saying that they hope someone goes and commits major crimes at YouTube's headquarters. They're saying this is treason and should be handled as such, while you tweet at Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, the State Department, and the CIA about your issue with a platform that has blocked and demonetized RT already, taken down the videos you claimed, adhered to their own existing policies from 2019, and now just wants to get away from your crazy ass from the lawsuit. Final point, in the ending of the video, you say that
Elon Musk, I'm not a crazy as Elon Musk fan, but Elon Musk has so much money that I can't say that he has no ties to Russia or anything Putin. Okay? So I don't think that's somebody you need to be tweeting if you're trying to say you're trying to stand for America. I don't think Elon Musk gives a fuck about America. Truly, honestly, I don't think he does. He cares about money. He cares about the bottom line. So why would you tweet Elon Musk? Mark Cuban is a Dallas Maverick owner and a business entrepreneur. He doesn't give a fuck about you suing YouTube, okay? Now, you tweeting the State Department. The State Department ain't looking at your tweets. Especially a tweet that got no likes, nigga.
you succeeded in defeating RT's motion to throw out the case. Cool. Good for you. But you then say, in a few months, RT will be an adjudicated repeat infringer. Not if the policy is 10 strikes per 90 days. But yeah, that's not what that means. The judge threw out a motion to dismiss. which doesn't mean that the case is won or a sure thing or even likely. You obviously have no understanding of what any of this means. It just means he said, okay, you have a good enough reason to bring this case in the first place, so I won't just yeet it the fuck out of here like he did with your suit against YouTube. Again, fine, I hope you win against RT, but this whole 2-hour thing stinks. It's bad. It's faulty, broken, unnecessarily political, sensationalized, dramatized, overly emotional, and so much more. If you are so unhinged that you are commenting publicly and emailing about how you only put it out there because you might end it all soon, while filing ridiculous and damaging lawsuits that are getting thrown out of court, accusing YouTube of undermining America in league with the Kremlin, maybe it's time to stop, man. The video description now reads that there is a shadow campaign to spread disinformation about the video, and they don't know who's behind it. Yeah, I guess that's actually the second time I've been accused of being in a shadow cabal or secret organization. The other time being Earth 2, but just like back then, it's equally as absurd. I'm not paid by Russia, as some people are suggesting in the comment sections. I'm not working with YouTube's lawyers like Edson himself is suggesting, all the absurd-ass things to say. I'm just criticizing a stupid-ass video about a dumbass lawsuit that shouldn't be happening. There's more, by the way, I can go into. There's a couple people I'm talking to, and I have, at the end of the week, I'll be discussing more, a couple interviews. I watched your video the first time around, but clearly didn't pay enough attention because it's worse than I thought, right? I can keep going on shit that's wrong, inconsistent, and seemingly deceptive. But for right now, that's enough. Well, almost enough. The email you sent, nowhere did you mention the watermark. Why on earth did you say that RT stripped out your watermark with a digital eraser when that is point blank not true? A channel with 1 million subs should know that the HTML overlay is not part of the video. Nothing got stripped out, erased, or removed. Nothing of the kind. It was never there to begin with. Why is that nowhere to be seen in your unhinged little email and comment?
Because he knows he's wrong and he can't argue that shit. And he knows if you've ever made a video going back at him, he knows for a fact that you would sit there and shit all over that statement. Because like I said, and like he said, this right here is not a watermark. It is part of your channel and part of your video. It goes in the fucking corner. It's to subscribe. It's not a watermark. There's like, bro, that's like, all right. If you go on TikTok, you you share your video on another platform, it's going to have your TikTok username at the kind of flashing across the video. So it's going to be starting on the corner, and it's going to go to the left, it's going to go to the right, it's going to go to the top. It's going to go and move into different spots so that it's going to continually move your watermark. And it lets you know the channel that it's being used on and where it came from originally. And then it was on TikTok. It's part of TikTok's branding. Triller does the same thing. So that I can understand. If you actually had a watermark that said business casual, let's say at the top right, and it said business casual and it said business, like that was yours, and it's part of the original video. If I went right now and downloaded the business casual original video, like the video that he's talking about, if I went and downloaded that video, I guarantee you that watermark is not there. Because guess why? It's not part of the video. It's part of the YouTube link. God.
I wonder. You said at the end, I will not allow you to post lies about me on your channel, and that's cool because I post the truth, and you get no fucking say about it whatsoever. That's it. Anyone who wants to support their links down below, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. If he wants to sue me too, that would be extremely telling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.
I'm going to just end this with this. This dude is extremely butthurt. He needs to go see some sun. Go talk to a therapist. He needs to reevaluate. Does he want to continue doing this YouTube shit? And tell himself, I need to stop, and decide whether he needs to stop wasting money on lawyers that are not going to help him get what he wants. And I'm going to just leave it at that. And I'm going to be off this. I'm done streaming for the day. I hope y'all have a good day. I hope y'all, be safe out there. And don't be suing people for no reason. Deuces.